So we're preparing for another local food day here at Dalhousie Food Services. And today we're here with Mark Sawler from Sawler Gardens. And he's here to talk to us about all the lovely root vegetables that they grow here in Nova Scotia that we get here in our dining halls. So welcome, Mark.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
It was wonderful when we were able to get you here in person previously, but we're doing the best we can in this strange times that we're in now. So thank you for hopping online to do a little interview with us. And we're going to do a lovely menu featuring a bunch of your delicious food here on Thursday. So we'll play this video then, and it's going to be wonderful. So thank you for participating. So first question we have for you today is, how did your family get into farming, and how long have you been established in the Annapolis Valley?
Well, my dad started the farm he bought the farm in 1959. As a kid, he wanted to get into agriculture, and it was a dairy farm. And he always grew vegetables. He started when he was 12 years old, so probably dairy farm for 5 years and said, that's enough of that. I'm going into the vegetable business. And in 1967, 68, he built a big facility here with storages for extended season marketing of carrots and rutabagas and parsnips and stuff like that. And and so I grew up in the middle of it, and then I just stayed and continued to work in it.
What variety of vegetables do you grow?
So we do carrots, onions, parsnips, red beets, rutabagas, and I do sell some cabbage, but I don't grow them myself.
How does the Nova Scotia climate affect their growing seasons? What are the unique challenges and opportunities, I guess, in our climate here?
Well, I think the positive things about our climate here is it's like when they talk about grapes, they talk about the Terre Noire. I find that our soils do give us very nice flavored vegetables, and I think it's related to the minerals in the soil, so we get a nice flavor in our product. We have a very consistent climate, not too many highs and lows, not too many hurricanes or anything like that. So we got a fairly consistent climate, a fairly long season starting from basically the 1st of May till the 1st of November. Our challenges are it's a maritime climate, which means there's a lot of humidity, which can bring in some molds and stuff like that when there's a lot of humidity compared to some of the drier environments. Mm-hmm. But sometimes that humidity is necessary in the rain, so that's always positive too. So it's you need a little bit of rain all the time and stuff like that. We do have irrigations for when it doesn't. So we do like a little hot dry period, but we'd also like a really nice rain every week too. So it's actually a fairly decent place for growing vegetables.
Do you grow anything other than root vegetables?
No, we grow some rotational crops to put organic matter back into our soil, but root vegetables is what we do. Like
legumes and clover, that kind of thing?
We do winter wheat, and we do something called sorghum grass, which puts a lot organic. We kind of stay away from legumes because they host a storage disease called sclerotinia, which can put white rot into carrots. And when we're storing, if we put on a field that's had a lot of legumes, we'll see a lot more storage disease because that's hosted on those legumes. So we kind of have to stay away from them, even though they're a nitrogen-fixing plant. But they really don't work in our rotation because of our long-term storage.
How do growing and harvesting practices differ between crops? I imagine that your growing season is different between onions and carrots, say.
Yeah. So say for carrots, we will sort of plant a bunch early, and then we stagger plant for a little later harvest stuff. And we'll vary our varieties a little bit more on soil types. On onions, we want to get them in all immediately. And what we do is we vary the actual day lengths of the onions, and the longer day length onions store better. But we grow some earlier stuff to get on the market that we sell in the fall. And then we have later varieties that we sell this time of year that are planted at the same time but take a little bit longer to mature. Parsnips are one plant, and again, late harvest. They can take quite a bit of cold, and we harvest them fairly late. They have a big, strong top. Beets, for us, our big demand is normally in the through August, September, when the pickling season's on. I would think most of what we sell, people take home and then they process into the canning market for themselves. We do sell some food market, but I think that was probably our biggest market. And then rutabagas, we just plant them again. There's only about one or two varieties there, so we just stagger plant for when we want to harvest them. Yeah.
Any special techniques that technology, crop rotation stuff that you use on the farm that's kind of unique to here?
Well, there's a couple things, and I don't know if they're unique, but it's certainly what we've developed. We've done a fair amount of work on our soils to make them fairly consistent through some land forming work that we do with earth movers. A rotation between carrots and onions is quite nice. A carrot crop is a deep-rooted crop, and an onion crop is a very shallow-rooted crop. So we'll plant onions, and they take a fair amount, what they call a heavy feeder. They take a fair amount of fertility to grow, and then we'll follow them with carrots, and the carrots will go down and grab the fertility from the year before that the onions didn't use. We're like on 1 year and 5 for onions. We don't really want to be any closer than that, and that's for disease. We consider carrots, parsnips, beets, all vegetable crops, and when I plant one, it's kind of like another for rotational purposes, and we try to be like 1 year and 3 with those. So we're looking to have probably close to, a good 40% of our land in rotational crops. Vegetables are like there's between cultivation and harvesting and planting, there's a fair amount of disturbance of the soil. You work it a little bit. It tends to burn some organic matter out of your soil, and you need organic matter in your soil to continue to have good tilth or movement of water and fertility in the soil. So that's why we really work in our off crops, which are the wheats and the winter sorghum. We plow it all back in. We don't take anything off, with the idea that we're going to use what we did that year. Next year will be used in the vegetable crop type thing, trying to maintain our organic matter. It's a struggle, but we try to do the best we can.
Right. All right, wonderful. And I guess that also leads into what our next question was what does sustainability look like at Sawler Garden? So clearly crop rotation to maintain your soil quality and all that is a big piece of it. Is there anything else you'd like to highlight?
We've done a fair amount with erosion control, trying to keep our slope, with the land forming, maintaining our lower slopes to drop our slopes on some of our fields. And we've done a lot of mitigations around our fields with windbreaks and rocking to control water. That's the big part of it. From a sustainability point of view, we've been at this for 50 years. We've changed some over that time, and it's mostly technology. We use GPS guided tractors now that do auto steers, so we know exactly where we're planting. We do fall tillage now and then plant exactly on that spot, which has really helped with for us, root quality is what we're selling. If they're straight and nice and uniform, that's what the market seems to want the most, and that's what we want to grow the most of. For the way that we are farming currently, and I think worldwide, it does require that I guess one could call that a sustainable, cheap energy source of some sort, and so far, that's where it is. The day the energy source changes, there's going to be a dramatic change in the whole world, but there'll also be a dramatic change in agriculture.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's all fascinating. All right, and on a lighter note, before we wrap up, do you have a family favorite recipe that uses your crops there?
Well, one that I like personally, and I was not going to call it a family one, but it'll be mine. A pot roast. We get a small blade roast or a rib roast, and we'll cook it in water with onions and soften it, and then put for every little bit of meat, put about 5 to 6 pounds of vegetables, and so about 5 or 6 times vegetables, and then those vegetables, just a little salt, cooked in that with that meat broth. I just love them that way. I do potatoes, carrots, parsnips, rutabagas, put them all in that way, and I really like them that way.
I know what I'm making this weekend. That sounds lovely. Good, warm, comfort food. Yeah.
Longer. We just set the roast in, cook it for an hour or two, and then pile the vegetables in, and then leave it for an hour or so. And yeah, I had it this weekend. I really enjoyed it.
It's good for this season when it's all chilly outside. Yeah.
Beyond that, I eat carrots raw mostly, and that's where I like them.
Yeah, we eat a lot of carrots raw at my house. I think I said we like to pickle carrots a lot at my house. It's a family favorite. And I just like all those root vegetables mixed together and roasted in the oven to get nice and caramelized as well. Can't go wrong there. Yeah.
No, you can't. Yeah, they're very good, nice that way.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. Thank you again, Mark, for connecting with us for a little bit. And hopefully next year we can have you come visit again. We'll see. Or maybe we can go out to your farm. I haven't gotten to go out to your space yet. So wonderful. Thank you. Wish you could be here to enjoy all the dishes that we're going to make this week. But we'll talk to you again soon. And we'll continue enjoying all of your lovely local vegetables in the meantime.
Okay, thank you.